Right, so um, today going to be carrying on with the recipe side of things. And I've got some fairly significant decisions to make. Um, and I will come on to the issue in a second. If I can get, oh goodness me, right, there we go. So if I go into missions, items, crafting, right, so this is not quite as it is, but it will do. Um, I could, uh, hmm, if I, what's the easiest way to do this? Let's see. So, I want to, where is it? Is it in here? Probably not. So we go here, we go develop, import, files, import source directory, browse. Here we go. Right. So somewhere is all my gaming stuff, which will be in here, source this. Create diagram for each package. Create package per names. We'll see what happens. It looks like it's thinking about it there. So this should update everything with what it actually is. Okay, and in theory, so this is our like temporary that'll do stuff. So if I actually, so we can get rid of these recipe input output, this, that, that. Crafting device, and we delete. There we go. Great. So if we now put back what we actually have, so we have recipe type, we have these two, and now we actually have this, input output full recipe. I think there's one more we're missing. And it should basically create exactly what we made ourselves last time for us. So if I pull these things across, so we're missing a few things. So let's see. I'll just run through the rest of the list. SB input output, recipe input output. Tina, blah blah blah, and then we should have. So there's tables, items. So we'll have this, and this. And then we go layout, diagram layout apply default. Interesting, it doesn't seem to pick up links to the structs. That doesn't matter too much. Input output. Yeah, it doesn't like reading T arrays, which is interesting, but it's whatever it will do. Anyway, so we've got what we've actually made in here again, which is very useful. Okay, so what do I need? Recipe table. Probably the item inventory stuff. So I'm thinking I need the UI. So there's item container. These two. I'll collapse this all down in a minute. Let's, I don't need the properties per se. So if we lay this out again, I don't really need the tables because that's just loading the data. So if we go layout, box. Oh, it really didn't think that one through, did it? Normally it's pretty good with these. But we'll just move that around there. Okay, so I don't know what's happened there. Whatever, some weird UI glitch. So there's that, and then we just want items, and we need item container. Oh wow. Item container UI. Right. Probably like the player controller as well. Wow, that's got a lot of shit going on. Okay. Let me make this a bit neater. So if I go elements, we can hide attributes. Probably only wanted to hide them from some things. Oh, actually, wait, if I go properties, show property string. I kind of want the types getting a bit massive. There we go. Oh, and I probably want to do the same for methods as well. So operations, element property. I don't really care about the properties. Operations, package contents, attributes. Okay, that would do. Right. Okay, so if I minimize that and this, it's going to be a bit hard to work around this because this is really not very useful. I'm sure I could make it so I only show certain things for specific things. There's operation return type. There we go. Right. Still kind of want to hide other things or whatever. Right. So the problem we've got is when you've got crafting systems in most multiplayer games, and single player games as well kind of suffer from this issue. So let's say, let's see, it's the easiest way to do this. So we have an inventory, right? So we've got this item container. Let's just for now make it so that these, let's just get rid of both because we don't really care at the moment. Right. Can I width auto size? Right, that's going to be a lot easier. Okay, there we go. Right. So we've got this, so this is our like visual container. This is our actual item container. And then consequently, we probably want items. So let me just get the f items structs. These, that one. hasn't found any links to that. That's unfortunate. Anyway, the reality of this is this. Oh, sorry, it's F instance item data. There we go. Right. So this has association. This has an association to that. Properties. Sorry, if I just get this sorted, it will be a lot easier to explain going forwards, because I need to fix this for myself anyway. So this is what we've got. So we've got, so this is item data. So this will be like, there's a thing called wood, and it can stack so many times and has a certain amount of weight, and maybe there's a value associated to it for the shop or something. And then this represents an item inside an inventory. So to stop replicating this information, we instead store a reference to it. So if you were to do, a lot of people unfortunately don't quite do stuff like this. So if I had, so we had an items thing and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then you had like wood and stone and iron, whatever, nails. So normally, in a lot of games, what people end up doing is they get this information and then they have an inventory, and they'll be like, okay, so my inventory has, this, and then an associated number, right? Whatever. So they end up duplicating the item information. So they'll make like an instance of an item, and this information will be passed into it, and it won't be like a reference of it. It will be the actual data. And then when it comes to loading stuff in the inventory, then you've got like the inventory UI then ends up also replicating this information as well, and so you get a lot of duplicate data flying around, right? So what you want to do instead is you then have what I've done, which is inventory items, and you have like 1 1. So this would be like the inventory. So if, say this would be like the ID, item ID, inventory ID, position. So then you have like 1 2 3 4, and then you have the item of 1 2 3 4, and inventory 1 2 1 1 1 1 1, and position 1 2 3 4. So like now this information is just some numbers in a table, and these numbers relate to these numbers, and this relates to this, and now this is just literally points to this just has an ID, and it's just one, and maybe a name. It could be like, player backpack or something. Yeah. Right, and then so that's an inventory definition, and then there would be like so this ID links to an instance of an inventory. So now we have inventory instance. Right, so then we got 1 and 1, and so this would be like the so this would be like its ID, the inventory type ID, and then and then these would relate to this. So come on, select everything, thank you. Alright, so then this would be like 1 and 1, so it's a type, an inventory type of player backpack, and this could have like a max size and max weight, all that kind of stuff. you know, it could have like 15 items and be 100 kilograms or something. So now we have it. So, oh, whoops. So all of our data is like the only thing that gets replicated is a couple of integers. So now the UI just gets it gets this information once as it's loaded. So it will loop through all of these items relative to its ID, and then figure out the position they're in, and then render them on the screen. So that's what we have here. So each of these is an instance of an item, and it's literally an ID linking to an ID, and then that ID pulls out the data to display. We only load everything once, basically. So that's what we've got currently. Now the problem we have is with crafting. In most games, you run into a situation where player dictates they want to craft an item, and then you kind of want to reserve those items somehow or not. And depending on which way you go makes this really complicated or really easy. So in this case, so we've got this structure, and there's different ways of doing this. So we have the player controller. So let's say, for example, what would be easiest to do this in? I'm just going to go in Word for now. Actually, let's do it in my document here. Right. So crafting recipes. So let's call it crafting system. Whoops. Okay, so just call this. So this one would be consume on produce. So this is probably what most people would start with. So if this goes to here, right? So a lot of games will do it this way. So player requests item to be crafted. So crafting device, which would be possibly player's inventory, starts item production. Whoops. Right. Then on production complete, check for consumed items from relative containers. So if containers have items, craft produce, otherwise failed craft. Okay, so we'll have, so this is pretty standard, right? So if you think about Minecraft, for instance, you have items, and it typically immediately takes it from like your inventory when you're handcrafting. But if you're making, say, am I right in thinking this? Actually, it's all instant, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah. So Minecraft doesn't really. I guess. So the furnaces, right? They develop. They progressively craft something. If you remove the item whilst it's doing it, it will fail the production. And it will still keep burning fuel, and it just will cancel it entirely. But in this instance, it's more the production's happening, and then you can remove and add stuff, and then when it completes, it consequently fails. So the alternative to this, so if we have let's see. So this could be like an alt. So this would be if consumed items are removed, cancel crafting. So in this case, it does exactly the same premise. For whatever reason, number 5 here wouldn't trigger. I don't know, something would have to happen instantly, but yeah, otherwise it will craft the item. So this is pretty robust. So this would account for most things. Oh, hello again. However, the alternative would be consume on craft. So it's going to be exactly the same concept. Oh, not much. Figuring out the way the crafting system works at the moment. Or how I want it to work anyway. So player requests item to be crafted, crafting device as it starts item production, and then consumed items are reserved. Reserved. It's one of those words. Where is... Huh? Oh, you're not going to tell me. Alright, reserved? Nope. Why not? Oh yeah. I thought it was okay. Cheers. Right, there we go. That's more like it. Right, so the consumed items are reserved inside crafting device. My spelling trips me up sometimes. What are you doing at the moment? Okay. So this would be if crafting is cancelled. Whoops. Return consumed items to inventory. Fair enough. Yeah, that's often the case. No, too many things to do, and none of it seems worthwhile to me. No. All right, fair enough. If crafting is cancelled, return the consumed items to the inventory if possible. If inventories are full, drop items on floor, hold items and stool reduction. Okay, so this should be something like this. Right. And then this would literally just be on production complete, craft produce. So this is a better approach. So this is where you like absorb the items on the crafting request. And in this instance, the the player can't really mess with anything, and if they request to cancel, the items just go straight back into wherever they came from. Now, in my system, it would be pretty easy to figure out where they came from, but there is a bit of a question as to like how much automation I do for that side of things. So I have the ID of the container that the item would have come from. So if it was like this, each of these is an item and an amount. Just whatever. Let's just put some random values in. Right. So I take an amount of an item in someone's inventory. If I find it in the same state, so I could store exactly this information with an amount of the value that I've consumed, and then if I find an exact match of this ID in this inventory, so it could have moved position, I think that's fine. Is that right? Oh, this gets a bit tricky because these move. Yeah, these only change their inventory ID and position, not their item ID. Because when in the code for the inventory, unless I'm very much mistaken, we shift. Yeah, we just swap the instance ID. So here we've got swap items. So this is where we have, this is the other container, the item to transfer, and the original item data. So this would be like, this could be wood, and this could be something else, nails or whatever. And this would be where we like swap them over. And I think, oh no, go back. I'm pretty sure I simply, it happened before this. I think it happens before. Existing item has space, take from. Yeah, that's if it gets rid of them. That's if there's anything left. Oh, it's down here. Oh, here we go. Right, yeah. So I just swapped the slots and the inventories over. So it's like taking a box from storage. So you've got like box A and B in storage, and A's got oranges, B's got apples. And then all I'm doing is taking the box out of this storage, the box out of that storage, and moving them over. So you can see here I swap the ID and the slot. So this, A goes into container ID B and slot B and vice versa, and then we update them. So that's that feature, and so the same premise can apply with the crafting system. So when the crafting gets cancelled, it can pick up, I know where it's come from, and if it's moved to another inventory, I can attempt to put it in the same inventory it came from, then failing that, attempt to put it in a nearby chest somewhere, potentially attempt to put it in the player's inventory because you can assume they're currently interacting with it. So it would be like if cancel return to inventory possible. If inventories are full, so let's figure this out. If inventories are full, this would be like do So this would be like the inventories are full. Check if existing inventories are full. Check if player can hold them. Otherwise, check local inventories. Else drop items on floor. Right. That makes sense. Existing, yeah. And if I put this in brackets here, so there's also the possibility that we could hold the items that are meant to be being produced, that have come back, and it waits for you to make space for it, basically. It will just have a state of items needing to be dropped or something. I don't know, we'll cross that bridge. This is the easiest option. Try and put them back. If not, put them back in the player's inventory if they got cancelled. Otherwise, check for local inventories. Otherwise, drop it on the floor. And you can't really go wrong with that. Basically, it's I think most players would expect that from a crafting system. The first one's like trivial because you just kind of player says craft. You check whether they can craft it at the start, and then you just check whether they can still craft it at the end. And if they can't, you just cancel out of it, tell the player, and then move on to the next one. And you just keep cycling through them. And you don't really have to worry about it too much. But this other one's a lot neater because the players go, the items go from their inventory, and then they try and go back. And if they can't go back, it tries to sort it out for you. It just makes more sense, I think. Yeah, so that's kind of what I gotta figure out basically. So the issue we've got with that is I need to make it so that well, do I actually need to do anything more? I definitely need to change the table data so that we add crafting time to recipes. So I probably ought to do that now. And we add double, and we go crafting time. Right. Okay, that should be cool. And then this should do the same thing. Oh, it floats in here as well. Okay, cool, right. Floats in those places, so that's good. This should error a lot. So we want crafting time. I don't know, just give it a 10 for that one. These aren't real recipes anyway. We'll change them later. Right, so if I generate that, that should update all of that. Then we come into here, go into here. Now, because we've got it all set up, come in here and go F recipe data, and we find another, I don't know, float somewhere maybe. It doesn't matter. So we go recipe data, copy this, paste this. We go float, crafting time, 1. And then we go to the read table for it. That in recipe table. Same difference here, and this will be get float from string crafting time. That should work. Great, so that's generated the data. So we should have some floats going about somewhere in here. Here, recipe data. Yeah, there you go. There's the floats. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got crafting time. Right, so I need to make it so that that craft button does some fancy things. So I need a timer, which I can steal from the presumably weapon code in here, because I'm lazy. Yep, there we go, timer handler. So we want to go into it's the recipe list UI currently. So if we do this, and this is timer handler, item crafted, we put most of the code in here. Yeah. So now when you hit craft, we want to delay. So there's gonna be craft that, and then there's going to be craft complete. And this is going to be not blueprint callable. Right. And this is going to, hang on, let's just generate definition. So this is when this actually happens. And this is going to start a timer, which I should be able to, again, steal the code from in here, potentially. Oh no, okay, hang on. It should just be a get world, get timer type stuff. This kind of thing here. I'll explain this in a second. Nope, not that one. It is this one. So then we go here. Craft complete. This will be recipe. Selected recipe dot get recipe dot recipe dot crafting time. This will be timer handler item crafted. I suppose I can just do this. And then I should be able to do con.getWorld. get the helper function. Right, so what we're doing here is we're creating a world timer. So we're saying get the world. This kind of shortcuts me having to do world dash time manager set timer. You can kind of see the code in the expansion at the bottom there, but it's basically we're saying here's the world, set a timer for this thing, run the craft complete method, and it takes as long as crafting time does. If we just come up here and just wrap that just in case. So now we can, now when we hit the craft button, it will, so I'll just, I didn't want to pause. Pause, right, let's run this up again. Right, so yeah, now when we hit the craft button, instead of just doing it, it will run the relevant codes after a duration. Currently, it doesn't actually check whether you have the items. I can, of course, do that after the fact in here. So what I'm thinking, so for simplicity's sake, I should probably make a, what do we need? Inventory get item amount. So this is checking all of them. So I need to check an individual recipe. So I probably need to make this into a separate method to reuse it. But for now, so do we have a sensible-ish recipe? We have nails, metal, barricade, okay. Wood. So let's say for the sake of argument, we just say it's one of everything. We run this. So let's make the player have a hell of a lot more health. Let's just times it by like 100,000. That'll stop me from dying. And then we can go and find the relevant items. So I need metal, wood, and nails. If I select it and hit craft, after 10 seconds, I should probably put some like, well, hey, we have a barricade, and it does seem to have actually taken the items as well. So yeah, if I hit run again, this should go down to 8, 1, and 46, and we should get a second barricade here. Probably should have made the times less, but there you go. Right, and craft again. Now, currently it's not checking whether we have the items, it's just using them entirely. But there you go. What's really cool about this is it removed the wood, and then that slot became available, and then consequently, yeah, went into the right slot. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's the first hurdle. So we've got a time delayed crafting system already, which is very nice. And if so, now I need to do the checks. Okay. So I want to create, if I just duplicate this and I call it check inventory for recipe. Okay, interesting. So this should be full recipe. I also want to make a method for this real quick, because we're going to keep doing this all the time. So we want one of these, base player controller, read write. Then we want to have a get player controller. Somewhere up here, just whatever. Get base player controller. Go in here, generate definition. I think I've got something in my helper definition that does something like this. There was like a, if it's null, make it thing somewhere. Result. I must have made it in like something else. Or I made it and it didn't compile. Was it my man table manager? I just want to find it because it was really, really useful. It took in the template method. Maybe I didn't save it or something. I'll have to cross that bridge another time. Anyway, this will be if base player controller, if it's null, and then return base player controller. We can change. So we have this. We have base player controller equals that. And then in all of these, we just have that. Then we get rid of that and have that. We get rid of that. Okay, that looks good. So this is going to check every item in the inventory. So if it's a type of item, blah, blah, blah. And we want to falsify it. So this is going to be a bool. So equals true. Then we go here and result equals false. Break. Return result. Yeah, that looks about right. And then we make this. This should actually be recipe.inputs, and if I get rid of that, yeah, so this will check if a player has its everything it needs. So in craft and this selected recipe dot get recipe. Okay, so now we're actually checking whether the player's inventory has the relevant items. And let me just change the crafting time of this because it's absurd. And I will put in a couple of logs just to make this better. So if I steal this one, come into here, so this will be like warning, blah 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 blah. Item. I suppose technically I could get the item name. It's not the worst idea in the world. It's a bit extreme because it's kind of pointless. But for the sake of it, let's say, so this would be get base hat to controller, get What on earth? Why can't I get the table manager? Base player controller. Huh? Right. No suggestions. Okay. Are you joking? Oh, it's I'm being an idiot. Get do I have game instance? No, okay, so wait. Right. Right. Base game instance get table manager dot get item data for, and this is gonna be IOD dot input output ID dot name. Right. It's a bit of a convoluted way to go about it. There we go. It's a bit extreme, but it will only do it once, and it will be quite useful for me for now. So that's blah blah blah. And I suspect so that will trigger when that. This should be like this should actually be player missing item bar for recipe. That, and we should be able to go star recipe dot name. Okay, that's really nice. Rid of this. So this will be no recipe selected. So that will do the check. And then this should do the check here as well. There's too many of those. There we go. Right. Now we could. So this is where it actually removes the items. So for now, just to make this more obvious, this will be consume recipe inputs. Okay, so we could move this to here if we wanted. Oh, I don't know why we're getting the player controller like that. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. That. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Sorry, there's some leftover stuff there. Right, clean that up. Right, so that's consume inputs. This will be produce outputs. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Really simple. So now we've got a nice split between the logic to dictate things and the actual doing of the things. All right, so we can separate those quite nicely later. Recipe selected. Wonderful. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to stop. I could possibly have recompiled the code, but This is a bit more explicit. Right, so yeah. So I should be able to test this pretty nicely. I think I need to make my own macro for the log so I can not have to keep inputting some of this stuff potentially. I'll do it another time. Right, so if we go here, if I just hit craft on something, that should trigger just a no recipe selected. Cool. Then if I select barricade, should get player missing items for recipe. That's weird. Hang on, if I clear the log. Player missing and no recipe selected. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'll have to change the logic for that. So these presumably don't have what I'm looking for. Oh, none of the relevant things spawned. That's always good. These wood. Oh yeah, there we go. There's some wood and some metal. See if we can find anything else. Oh, this will do. So we've got some nails, wood, and metal. So if I select this, I hit craft. All right. There we go. Nice. So that crafted the item and it took them. So if I now remove the metal and hit craft, it should say player missing item metal. So if we put the metal back and remove the wood, hit craft. Yep, recipe wood. Okay, wonderful. And if we go in here, just hit craft again. I could have sworn I changed it to like 2 seconds. Maybe I didn't actually run the code. I might make it update dynamically at some point. If I just hit run again. Yeah, these chests don't have what we're looking for. None of them do. Might have to make some test code for boxes, missions or something to stop this problem where the RNG is not in my favor. Okay, so we got metal and wood. Anyone got any nails? Probably not. It's pretty rare. There's a good odds, right? That and that. Should only take 2 seconds now. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. Right, so we got a bit of more robust crafting system. So now let's change it so that it consumes the items when you press the button. And so that this is run outside of this. And the same goes for down here, because we are getting unwarranted error messages. Okay, that should be that. I'm just gonna, there we go. Okay, so that's that done. So now they'll consume the items as we hit craft. Oh, hang on, I need to rerun the code. Oh. Oh. I didn't expect it to work so smoothly so soon, but it's pretty cool that it does. Oh, good. Right. Right. Do we have what we need? We do. We have wood, nails. Do we have any metal? We do. Right. So now if I hit this, it should. Yeah, it's taking them immediately, and it should. Well, that's interesting. I assume it's saying here no metal. Player is missing metal. Oh, is that because I've got it on a greater than? Interesting. Let's just see what this when it eventually puts a breakpoint in. Mount 1. And what does this think there's 0 then? Can you go down, please? Yeah, so it thinks. So if I go into the inventory, it's going to be really hard to test. Hang on, let me. So if I just for now, I wonder can I output that as a variable inside here? So if I were to do int 32 total, I've not actually tried to do this before. Can I inline that? No, okay, that would be really convenient. I'm sure there's a fancy way of doing it, but for now I'm just going to do right, there we go, total. So now I should be able to debug that. So it's weird that it's not working. Because there was definitely, oh, I'd stopped it. Okay, that's my bad. There was definitely one in our inventory, unless there's like a visual bug going on. I suppose I ought to put a is crafting flag in here. And then eventually we can take most of the code out of here and offload it into something that actually handles like a crafting system properly. Because we need a common design for this, and then we should be able to inherit from it going forwards. But it will do for now. So I don't actually need a breakpoint on there, just a breakpoint on there. So the situation we ran into. Okay, so if I select this, and this should break in the same way. Okay. So I can see that there's one in there. So if I go here, what's the output? So it seems to think that we don't have enough metal. What happens if I move it? So it's possible that this get item amount isn't working properly. Still says item metal as well. So we're going to do the same with the wood. I reckon it already has. Metal. It's going to break on the first one. Yeah, so it keeps breaking on metal exclusively. Is it a problem with just metal or is it wood as well? Oh, blast. Okay, I need to ban myself from pressing escape, or I need to override it so it doesn't actually exit. Okay, well, that will do. Right, so does it happen with wood? Oh, I know what's happening. It's running it twice because I've added it here and I shouldn't have. Right, that's why. Yeah, if I ignore and we go here. Right, I was being silly. So I made it check afterwards, which then cancelled the production of it. So it did have it because it's already consumed it. So if we do it now, let's hope there's something with a lower amount. But bro, huh? Okay, how can a character be null? That shouldn't be possible. Because it wouldn't have added it in the first place. Okay, that's really weird. Yeah, okay. I mean, I can add a check, but that just seems ridiculous. I shouldn't have to do that, but whatever. Sure, why not? Um, okay, right, let's go through that again. Uh, this would spawn things. By loadout. If it fails to spawn, it checks here, then it shouldn't add it to the list to be detected, so it got made null after the fact somehow. Anywho, back to the crafting system. Right, so it was actually working. I just butchered the bloody logic by moving it and not actually updating it. So I shouldn't need that check. So we go here, we go here. Let's see. Nope. Toolboxes can have it, but not enough. Oh, that might do it. Just about. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, it would reset the timer so it only I need to obviously I need to add crafting queues, but that's a me problem. Oh, we got no nails? Damn. Got any more boxes? Any spawn in here? Got any toolboxes maybe? No, okay, wow. These might. Nope. Okay. Oh dear. Nothing. Man, what are the odds, eh? It's like a 1 in 4 or something. Okay, this will do. Right. So in theory, we craft one, we wait, craft another, we wait. I should be able to craft the last one. And it does. But it didn't take the metal to start with. So it looks like there's possibly an update bug there. Because if I put this in, hit craft, it takes the wood, nail, and metal. Craft again, it does take the wood. I shouldn't be able to craft anymore. So it crafted, and then yeah, missing recipe wood. So there's like 7 wood here. So if I craft again, have a barricade, craft again, have a barricade, craft again. So that time just then, that last time where it tried to take the metal, didn't actually remove it from the UI. So sometimes it goes wrong, and it looks like it goes wrong when there's only one item in the array. I also, in the checks, need to make sure that the player has space for the items in their inventory. So I'd need to do another check here, which would do the same kind of thing. So this would be for the outputs, and this would be inventory dot. Do I have a drop an existing update, fill existing items? I need a method that loops through the inventory, because there's this get existing items with space. So you pass in the ID, and this would give you, so this would be a T array of my instance items. Right, so this would be free space items. So when you run this and you pass in, say, wood, these would be all of the items that are also wood existing in the inventory. So I'd need to do, but there's a better way of doing this specifically for this instance. But then I could use this to search through, find existing slots, check whether the player can actually contain that amount of item, or I can just say fuck it and they can craft it whenever, and if they don't have space, it throws it out on the floor or something. So we'll come back to that. But for now, so the remove isn't working in all cases. So if item.amount less than or equal to item.remove, item to remove dot amount, remove it. So it should be triggering this. So this is like, if we found the same item, and if the item we found has an amount less than or equal to this, so if this was wood and this was wood, and this was like 5 and this was 6, so there's still 6 wood left to remove, then we might as well just delete this item entirely and then remove the result from here. So this will either be 0 or, mine or lower, basically. However, in the instance where it's greater than, yeah, if it's greater than, then this would be like, we're removing 6 wood from 30, so you just reduce the amount, set the amount to 0, and just update the information. So this remove instance item might not necessarily be working. So I'll need to check that. So I'll put in a to do. Doesn't always remove the UI item correctly. Probably so it's like likely due to not invalidating the ID. So I suspect I need to my assumption would be I just give it a blank instance item data. Or it'd be dot something like this. So that would remove it from there. I'll have to do something different here. Basically, I need to pass an invalid item back to the UI so that it forces it to sort itself out. Basically, that's where I need to go. Okay, so that would be cool. Right, I'm going to all the wrong things again. Actually close all of this down. Right. So we're back here. So I think we got it working basically. So it checks whether you've got the items. If it does, then it produces it, consumes the items, produces the item. Job done. So I don't need that check there anymore. So the player can't do anything more beyond that. And then we just have the ability to cancel an item. So we'd have like a queue. We'd probably have a structure representing the items in the queue. So I'd probably need, probably another UI component to handle recipes in progress. And you have an X button, and then when you cancel it, it just does something else. So in here we could have preemptively, we should have a blueprint thing here. Right, so this would be cancel crafting. What do we do here? We need some kind of new UI component for this. Potentially. But for now, recipe UI. So this should probably keep track of a list of in progress recipes. So we would have something like, so that's recipes that you can craft. And then this would be T-array, view recipe UI. In progress recipes. And in here, we would simply have, so this would be if player controller get world dot get timer manager dot is timer active, timer item handle. This will stop it spamming the timer. Oh, we don't actually. Oh, hang on. Dot add selected recipe. Okay, and actually, if we get rid of this and we have not, so this will start the timer if it's not already. This will add it to the list. This. So produce outputs, we would want to have taken a U recipe, UI recipe, one of those, pass in one of those, come back here, speed or outputs, and then it would be in progress recipes dot pop. Cool, so this will remove the last one from the array. So if you've got a queue, this pops it off of the top, or I can't remember. Anyway, so every time you press the craft button, it should queue up another one if the timer's not running. And then here, so it'll produce the outputs, and then we go if in progress recipes dot is empty, and we go if not is empty. Then we do this. In progress recipes dot first. Huh. There's a top, hang on. Turns the top element, i.e. the last one. Hang on, I need to have a look at T arrays again. Wouldn't mind an array of T. Right, pop. Not quite what I had in mind. I want the... Okay. There we go, documentation, right. Pops an element from the array. Remarks. Wow, that's real useful. Pardon me. Cool. Oh, just here and delete. Right, is this better? Doesn't actually tell me, it just says pops element from array. I'm not really sure. Okay, is it always the last? When you add, should go 0, 1. I suppose I can just test it. So if I increase the crafting time to 10 seconds, so I run that, we run this. I should be able to check what elements in the array are left when it pops it. And then, oh yeah, I haven't, oops. It's gonna error, isn't it? I'd be concerned if it didn't. So that this would be, it'd be first or something. I don't know why it doesn't have a, it's find last. So what top is the last one? I know I can just do 0, but I'm surprised it doesn't just have a nice little last. Oh, that's weird. So what does it call it? Begin and no, okay, fine. So my assumption here is that the pop should remove 0, and then we want to replace it with the next one in the list. So if that's the case, unresolved externals, cancel crafting. Oh right, yeah, I added a new method and hadn't implemented it. Sorry. There you go. Right, let's try that one again. Helps if you implement methods for it to use, you know. Not that we're using it yet, but it will be of use. Okay, right, so we go in here. I do actually need the items, so I might need to... Does this have enough? Yeah, might as well, right, cool. So my plan, so if I hit craft on here, craft on here, craft on here, craft on here, in a few seconds, it should trigger the code. Just gotta give it a minute. There we go. Right, so we have in progress recipes. So the first one is recipe BP underscore C 0. Okay. And so it should, in theory, pop should get rid of this one and leave it as 1, 2, 0. Right, and this, no, it's gone 0, 1, 2. Huh? Oh, is that actually... Oh, no, yeah, it's removed the very last one. Yeah, so pop, I really wish this just simply said removes the first or the last or something. Okay, so we just want to, okay, if I come out of this, Where have I done this before? I've got an example in my task manager. Task component. Maybe. Perform task, blah blah blah, removal. Queue. Oh yeah, I made my own class for it. Okay, I will have to retract this. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. So we've got a queue of actions, and when you unqueue an item, you add, and when you dequeue an item, head index plus plus. Okay, so yeah, this takes from the end of an array, adds to the start. So you've got like a list, and the one you're currently interested in is at the bottom. So yeah, fair enough. Okay. So wait, if we for now, I'm just going to do this 0 and then dot remove 0. Okay, so this should do the same thing, but it's just not as neat as I was hoping. I think I can use like a T stack. Origin T stack. Let's have a quick look. Push and pop. Hang on, so if I go to here. Oh, wait. Is that? Push. Heap push. Pushes an element into the array. You know, I don't really know why I'm doing it like this. Hang on, if I go to here, I can actually go to the code. Duh. Right, go to push. So push doesn't add. And pop. Result gets the last one. So this is doing it from bottom down. So technically it's fine. I don't see why you use push. Because it just does a straight add unless it's move temp if possible. We'll cast a reference to an I if it doesn't static accept. Okay. Who knows? Anyway, this should work regardless. It's just not very clean. Okay, so we take this and we go one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. And in theory, we get here. Okay, so we've now got 3. An array. I should have obviously paused it here as well. So currently we've got 120, and it should be 20 on the next one, which should be about 5 seconds. All right, so we've got 120, and this should be, funny enough, 20. Good, right. I don't really care quite so much about how it works, but yeah, it would be practical to do it the same way that it's expecting, I suppose. Either way, yeah, because when you do an add, it just adds to the end, and if you do a pop, it takes the end. So yeah, I need to do something differently about that. I might make my own class for it or something, I guess. Anywho, well, it works. So it's progressively crafting things. I should end up with another sniper rifle and another barricade in a second. Takes a while. There we go. So if I now craft, say, that, and then two of those and one of those. Yeah, see, it's not removing the final item effectively. I should have got a warning that I don't have the metal in my inventory to craft this. Let me just, yeah. But it's fundamentally working. It's crafting whatever in a delayed fashion. At the same rate, takes the items, produces the items. So, cool. Right. I'll make some more sensible recipes at some point. It doesn't really matter at the moment. So I'll leave that like that, but I'll add in a to do, make better use of the pop and top, etc. That would do. That'll remind me there. So I've got to fix a few things still, and now we need the ability to cancel. So we've got a list, and we've got some. Problem we've got, so we'll have multiple things in production. And I'm kind of passing a non-unique item. So we want a crafting list with a unique ID, because we do need to store this data. So basically we need another data table, even if it's only temporary, to store in progress crafting components, things. So I need, let's say in here. So I haven't got one in here at the moment, but basically if we go class, crafting device. So this should have something in the region of an ID, a name, that'll probably do for that, and then we want another class, and this will be, I could call it like in progress or crap. That's just in. I can always rename it later. So we got in progress crafting, and this will have an ID. We'll have a. Oh, so I need another. So there's crafting device ID, but this will be instance crafting device ID. If I just put the properties and stuff back, attributes, I'll just scroll down here real quick. So we also need, funny enough, we need a instance crafting device, and then this will also have an ID and a, funny enough, same kind of thing, but this will just be the crafting device ID. Right, so now we'll have, so this points to this, this points, oh hang on, this relates to this. Cool, okay. So now we can have crafting device definitions, we can have instances of them, so this will be kind of like a location, some kind of vector, probably like a player or owner ID. Owner ID. I want to start thinking about owning stuff here as well, owning type. Hang on. Spell correctly, thank you. Owner type, okay. And that actually brings me on to another thing. Let's just have a owner type, and this would be player AI, I don't know, plan, whatever. Right. This will give me something to think about for next time as well, because we might have AI owning crafting things, players or clans. So there's a whole, if you have a guild or something, who owns it sort of thing. Anyway, so yeah, so we have all this. There's like name, and then this will probably have like a obviously this has like a recipes list, because the recipe data as a crafting device ID, so this will like point to this. Properties, that, right, so that links to that as well. So if we just pull this across, put that there. Okay, cool, so we got kind of what we need. So yeah, so we need a definition of the crafting devices like we would have for like items. So you've got like a single definition of the device, and then the instances are physical, real world instances of the same device. And then we link this, so this would now have a recipe ID. Right, oh, what happened there? I'm not sure what happened there, okay. Who knows? So yeah, this will then link to a recipe, which will obviously come back to here. So this relationship's like a filter. So these recipes can be made in this device. Now I might want to make an intermediary table as well. This is where it gets even more obnoxious, but this could be like crafting device recipes. So we might want to have something like that. Can I? How, I wonder. Can I copy this? Like copy it? No, okay, fine. So if I copy that and I go in here and we go this, and then recipe ID. So this might be something we actually want to do instead. So then this actually links to that. And instead of that way around, this links to that. And then we do the same as we've done before. This is where it all comes together, right? So now we can have the same recipe being crafted in different devices, and then devices having different instances, and then those instances can have a queue of recipes they're currently crafting. And it all comes back around basically. So now we've got this nice relational database for crafting recipes from various means. Now in some games, the crafting recipes for a device would be different in some way and have like a modifier. So you might have like a different time or like amount of items or something. And I mean, this handles that. I could just point it to a different version of the same recipe. But you could potentially, if you wanted to avoid replicating recipes at all, creating some kind of recipe override inside this table here. So you could have like a different set of inputs or outputs or something. It gets a little... Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think I'd rather have a separate recipe. So if you had like, the player could craft something and a workbench could craft something and then some machine could craft it. It might be the player can craft it with lots of resources and lots of time. Then the workshop can craft it with less resources in the same time. And then the machine could craft it with less resources and less time. And you could either have 3 different recipes separately in the database for each of them, which would be easy, or you could, have some means in here, and you could have overrides for the inputs, outputs, and the crafting time. So yeah, not really 100% sure on how I would want to do that, because then you might be essentially duplicating data, which you're going to be duplicating in both cases anyway. It makes more sense just to make a new recipe with the different times and inputs and outputs. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that one as of yet. But yeah, so now we've got, this would make the most sense. So I need to make this crafting device recipes, crafting device table, instance crafting device, and then a in progress crafting. And then it all kind of links, and we can have a thing that crafts something that exists in the world that is currently crafting these things, and then when you cancel those things or they complete, they get removed from that list. And if you remove them by cancelling them, it will then put items back in your inventory. So at which point, so this cancelled crafting should be something like, so this would be some kind of, I don't know, if I just quickly, it would be like a some struct, and it would be like F in progress crafting, and this would have like, the same date we've got there. So it would have an ID, it would have a crafting ID, recipe ID, and then in here it would be like, so this would be a list of in progress crafting. So this would be in dot like so it'd be like for one of these inside here. This would be like that in there. For oh no, it wouldn't be. It would be in. Sorry, I'm doing this the wrong way round. It'd be for that dot. I don't know, some get recipe or something. I'd probably have a, I don't know, get recipe this dot recipe ID and f in input output data recipe ID. This would be dot inputs, and this would be like it's IOD dot input output type, wherever that one's gone, somewhere up here. So it'd be the same as this, funnily enough. Let me come down here. I might as well preemptively figure this out a bit. Then yeah, it'd be this pretty much. Add item. Yeah, cool. Right, and we would craft the item in the same way here. So it'd be that. Oh, something like that. Can I? There we go. Right, and then this line would actually be up here. Something to that effect. So if it's an item, get this, get the data, get the amount, add item, job done. So when you cancel, you get the recipe, blah blah blah, and then this would do dot in progress recipes dot remove and yeah, cancelled recipe, right? Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That will probably solve our problems, and I need to now make several more tables. But that should be basically the entire crafting system done for most cases. Still need to work on the UI. Obviously, there's a couple bugs here and there. But it's mostly UI updates rather than functional bugs, which is nice for a change. So, yeah. SVD crafting, blah, blah, blah. And now I've got my new table generator. So I can, for instance, scroll down to the bottom. I was going to scroll. So if we come up here, so for example, let's actually do one of them because it will be pretty quick. So we want a, is this not word wrapping? Word wrap, there we go. Okay, right. That's a bit hard to read actually. Okay. So if we come up to here, right, so we got this, so we would want, let's just do this real quick because I can literally just copy paste, whoops, that, category, crafting device recipe, so its ID is integer. I'm just gonna comment that one out because it's fine, we don't care about that. And then this is gonna be, oh, I don't care about that ID. So this is actually going to be crafting device ID, and then this is going to be recipe ID. And then we copy and paste this because it's going to be pretty much the same. So then we do have ID. Then we have name. This is going to be string. Oh, this also has a mount, which it doesn't need. Okay, this also has a mount, which we don't need. And then we copy this again. And then we have instance crafting device, which might as well be the same. ID, then we have crafting device ID. So I can just copy and paste this stuff, it's great. Location, which we would, this would have to be a vector. So if I actually add vector to here, and then go back here. Okay, cool. That won't come out quite yet, but we'll work on that. And if I just do this and go vector, is that right? What are they? Is that what the actor location and stuff is? I haven't looked at that in quite a while, actually. Let me just, location, yeah, F vector, cool, right, got that one right. That should be all it actually needs, because that's just generating the code, not the data. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so for instance, if I now hit run on this, oh, if I can. So we should now see, if we come up here, so we've got crafting device recipes. So it's made F crafting device recipes, crafting device ID, recipe ID. It makes the header for the table. So it's even got U blah, blah, blah. The loading of the CSV data. It's got the array of the data, the get data, the class. It's got the right CSV name. It loops, it uses all the right properties in here. I think that's the only other place I needed to adjust, actually. Was there somewhere table definition, there's like a new, there's a thing somewhere. Oh, it's here. So I would probably have something like get vector string. Cool. So if I hit run again, that should, that should do it. So we hit run again. This should now generate somewhere so at the bottom one, wherever that one's gone. Yeah, so this is like, so this is the one for the instance of a crafting device. It's got ID, the crafting ID, F vector, location, all the right categories, the names for everything still, and it's running, it's going to use that, and that's set as a string, which it shouldn't be. But it's all there basically. So if I put that as integer, integer name string, integer. Yeah, wonderful. So that now generates the C++ code that I can just straight copy and paste. I mean, if I wanted to, I can just, so if we take this and we go into our item structs somewhere. They're quite far up. There we go. So if I just go down to the basically the end, full recipe. So if I do one after here, ta-da! It just, there it is. That's just copy and paste auto-generated code. So I get this one. And then, oh, whoops, this one. Perfect. Yeah, so it names it properly, structures it in exactly the same way as all the other ones, names things correctly. Yeah, it's looking really good. And then, yeah, if the code should be fine as well. I'll have to generate the classes from the Unreal Engine because it does some extra stuff that I can't do yet. But I would love to spend a weekend figuring out what the Unreal Engine does and then making this actually generate the code, add it into the file itself, and then add those in the relevant places and then generate the full classes for all of them. So I just press a button, and if it doesn't exist, it adds it. And that's it. So we'll scan, just do a general string scan for the name. If it can't find it anywhere, it just adds it, basically. And it will add it to here. It will generate the table information in here. So it will make another one of these, which you can, if I copy one of the other ones it's made into here. So this would be this code here, for instance. So you can see it won't compile on these because that doesn't exist. But if I did say, whoops, if I just put this here, then, and so then there's these methods and things. I mean, if I just change this to this, because that exists. So yeah, it just perfectly generates the code, and I can just copy and paste it, and we're done. Don't have to do that ever again. Anyway, that will be it for me. I think my voice is going, if nothing else. Yeah, cool. Right, excellent. I've just got work tomorrow and then weekend. I have a date on Sunday, so that'll be interesting. We'll see what comes of that. So yeah, crafting recipe, crafting devices, crafting, cool. I'm just gonna make that one and we're good to go. So yeah, I will see you guys around and thanks for watching.